Hey there, Shannon. Wanted to jump on real quick and go over your loan estimate here. Again, gives us a general idea of what we're going to be looking at um, and what to expect at closing. It is, though, a estimate, so some of these numbers could change a little bit. I'll highlight those as we go through this, but this will give you a pretty good idea on what to expect, both at the closing table and for the life of this loan, anyway. Okay, so first things first, make sure we got name spelled correctly, current address, property address, buying for 245. It's a 30-year purchased fixed rate FHA loan. Rate is not locked yet. Most lenders make you wait until we get the appraisal back to lock. Once we get through the inspections and get everything, um, really, after our conversation a little bit earlier, I have no problem locking this um, whenever you tell me to. Because it sounds like we're moving forward. The inspection's not going to be a deal breaker, but it does come down to any repairs would have to be mentioned on the appraisal. We'll touch base more on that, but um, I hadn't locked it yet because I wasn't sure where we were on the inspection. But since talking to you a little bit earlier, we can go ahead and lock this if you wanted to. We'll talk more about the market's closed now. We'll talk more about that either over the weekend or first thing on Tuesday and see where it's at and get everything locked in if you'd like. All right. Anyway, not to throw too much at you at you once, so let's focus on the right here, right now. As it sits, the loan amount is 245.62. This amount cannot increase after closing. Your interest rate, I've got us down to a 5.75. This amount cannot increase after closing. Your monthly principal and interest is 1403.85. Cannot increase after closing. So if this is where we lock at, this is what those will look like. Important features. Does it have them? Prepayment penalty? No. This means if you were to win the lottery and pay this thing off early, you will not be penalized. If you win the lottery within 6 months and pay it off, I'd ask you to make at least six payments because I am a 100% commission employee, and so if you do pay this off before 6 months, the lender will come back for 100% of my commissions. But I do also understand sometimes that's happened. I've definitely had it where people had unexpected changes in the families and had moved. The thing I ask is give me a heads up if you do have to sell or get out of this mortgage within the first 6 months, so at least I can be prepared. But what's more practical and probably more likely going to be the case, this is an FHA loan. You are not able to refinance for at least 6 months. Or six payments rather. As we've talked about, I do think without a crystal ball that we likely will see rates come down over the course of the next couple months, and it is likely that a refinance may make sense for the long term of the loan. If that happens, you will not be penalized for that prepayment or selling in the future. Loans paid off early, no prepayment penalty. Got caught on a tangent there. So, moving right along, balloon payment. No, there is no balloon style payment, meaning at no point in time will the total principal balance become due on you. And Unless you see this through the life of the loan, which is that 360th payment. This is illustrated just below with years 1 through 30. That's 360 payments looking the exact same. Your principal and interest, 1403.85. Mortgage insurance, 108. Estimated escrow right there at 450 because of the the uh, hazard insurance. I've got 3,600 in there right now, so $300 for hazard insurance. That makes your total bottom line payment right about 1962. But Dylan, hold on. You said we're doing a 2-1 buy down. We are. That is this sheet right here. Bear with me. I should have had it marked before I hit record. All right. Here, I'm going to hit pause real quick. Okay, so for some reason, every state's a little bit different. And for some reason, on these Louisiana, I'm not seeing it, but I do It's in your contract. I just have the loan set up like that. I know I do, and I'll show you how I know I do in a second. I just don't know where the disclosure is. So I'm going to show you on my manual work what you can expect for the first two payments, our first 2 years. Our loan amount 245.26, 245.26, and boom. All right. So the first year, your payment is going to be $289 less. So we got 1962 minus 289.73. First year is 1672, and then boop. Second year, it is the 1962 minus 148.95, 1813.05 is what you're looking at for that the second year, and then it's not until the third year that you get the fully amortized payment at the 1962. All right. So estimated closing costs, we've got 17,491. Estimated cash to close is 12,493. Wait a minute, that can't be right. Nope, it's not exactly. So let's break that down and what we can expect here. So interest rate, that buy down of 5.75 plus, by the way, right here, this seller concession showing 14,360 or 39,436. You can tell it's been a long day. That's how I know, because your total seller concessions is 14,700. So that's how I know that the 2-1 buy down is on here. I just don't know why it's not showing up on the disclosures, but nonetheless, with that being said, that's what's going towards your closing costs. So breaking down this figure right here, estimated cash close and closing costs. So first thing for cash to close, right? We've got your loan amount 245. You're bringing 3.5%, so you're bringing 8,085.75 to the closing table, just off of your down payment, right? Now you've already put $1,000 down, and before I hit deliver, I'm going to go back and add that $1,000 because that earnest money has not been entered in. I will do that before I send it out, but $1,000 earnest money, so you're down to 75 is what you would be bringing towards your down payment. Now, again, the market is a living, breathing thing. Yesterday, when I put these together, it was down a little bit from where it is at close of market today. However, it is still significantly better than it was when we first started moving. When it opens up on Tuesday, may open up a little bit better, a little bit worse. Nonetheless, I've got the ability to with this lender to help you a little bit on the rate. I'm going to get you a credit as much as I can towards it. When I was playing with figures earlier with this set, I expect to be somewhere right in the ballpark of about $3,800 for this interest rate. Should be roughly where it's at instead of the 44.82. Now, I also want to highlight what's not here, and you'll notice this is origination charges. There is no underwriting fee. There is no processing fee. Those two things right there with other lenders typically combined are going to be right at about between $1,500 and $2,000. So that's a pretty substantial savings that we got right out the bat. We are buying the rate down, but that's because we have those seller concessions. Now, moving right along, we're at $3,800. Your appraisal fee, you will pay that prior to close, so I'm not going to include it on the cash to close because you will have already paid it. Credit report, you've already paid it, so I'm not going to include that. MERS fee, $25. That's a mortgage electronic registration system. Then you have your final inspection. If that comes up, it will be $200. However, that will be paid before close too, so I'm not going to include it in these figures. $8 for flood certification, just making sure you're not in a flood zone with FEMA. HOA, if there is one, is $150. I don't think this property has an HOA, but if there is a homeowners association and we have to get any kind of certification, you can only be charged up to $150 of whatever that association fee is. Mortgage insurance premium 4137, and then verification fee. I'm sorry, that 4137 is actually an important number. So this is your private mortgage insurance. This is upfront mortgage insurance. It is not paid at closing. It sits on top of the loan amount. That's why your loan amount is at the 240. 562 instead of the 238 or whatever it would be after the 8700 or 100 down payment, or $7,500 $8,500 down payment. All right, so and then verification of employment. Usually I can get by without having to get a verification of employment. If I do have to, you cannot be charged more than $100, no matter. I just took that away. I'm gonna put $200. But you cannot be charged more than $100 if there's any kind of verification fee for verifying your employment. Most employers, I'm able to call your HR and get them to fill it out, but sometimes that is not always the case. Title work. This is a rough estimate at $1,800. I really don't know until I get title back from the title company. But that being said, it's going to be a rough figure there at about the 1,800, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. I would say, if anything, it'll probably end up being less. It seems a little bit higher, but I do know Louisiana can be a little bit more expensive for a title. Recording fees. That's recording the new deed down at probate's $450. Then we have our prepaids. This number's quite a bit higher than I expected it to be because of the homeowner's insurance. I've got $3,600 because I haven't gotten that quote from Ashley yet, and I think it's actually $34. But for conversation's sake, I'm going to say $3,600. Prepaid interest. That's just odd days interest. This is low because I set this out for the end of January just to get everything completed. But if we ended up closing, it's just the odd days of the month for every day that we close in the month after we close. So because you're not going to have your either January, February payment and first payment in March, or the March payment, first payment in April, right? But whatever the last days or odd days of the month is, that interest will be collected. So if we close at the end, it's just choosing whether you want a little bit higher on your prepaid interest or monthly interest. All right, so this is set at 2 days, so $76. That could, as I said, that could vary just a little bit. And then initial escrow payment is going to be $1,350. That's putting back 3 months for homeowners insurance, 3 months for property taxes, so that when those fees become due again, you have that money set aside, $1,350. So your total closing costs, like cash in hand, cash in hand is $11,209. But again, we've got $94.36 coming from the sellers, so that puts it down to. What did I just do there? $1,350. All right. $1,350. God bless it. 11,209 is what we have, and we've got 94.36 from the sellers. So that makes it where you're only paying $1,700 of your closer to $1,800 of your closing costs. It's fantastic. Then we add back the $75 for the rest of your down payment. Your cash to close, I'm going to round this up. I'm going to say it's going to be closer to between $95,000 to $10,000 is what it'll likely be, not the $12,500 that's showing there. So I'm going to, usually I'd hit deliver here, and you watch me hit deliver, but I'm going to circle back in. I'm going to add your earnest money down, and then I'll be sending this out to you. So call me if you have any questions. You have a great weekend. Sign these when you get a chance. Don't sign anything without understanding it. If you have any questions about any of these, give me a call. But most of them are pretty self-explanatory. You read the title, you'll know what it is. Have a great weekend. Happy New Year, my friend. Happy belated birthday, my friend. And look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks so much.